Shabbat Shalom. In this week's Parasha, Parshat Ki Teitzei, we learn about a fascinating law known as the law of the rebellious child. The Torah itself delineates a number of rules related to this child. That if you have a child who's a glutton, who spurns authority, the parents were to bring this child to the Beis Din and the child would be judged. If that child was found to be guilty, that child was actually put to death, capital punishment. I actually read a book once that actually described that this was the practice of ancient Israel. This is not true. The Talmud says very clear, states categorically, the story of the ben umorer umorer, lo haya v'no livra. It never happened and never will happen. Therefore, asked the Talmud, why then does the Torah place this lesson over here? In order to us to learn from the principles of this law. What a fascinating law. The child called the ben umorer umorer, the rebellious child. And we're not talking about a child who doesn't want to eat his Brussels sprouts, a child who is rebellious to the action of his parents. We're talking about a really, really bad child. But the Torah teaches us a very fundamental principle. It says, what caused this child to slide so far away? And it comments the following. It says, "Hayeled hazeh einenu shomea b'kol aviv v'kol imo." It does not, this child did not listen to the voice of his mother and the voice of his father. Why does the Torah tell us twice the kol aviv, the voice of the father, and the voice of the mother? We could say on the one hand that this child is such a rebellious child that no matter how the father talks to him or the approach that the mother takes, this child is not interested at all. There's a complete breakdown in honor, respect, and if it starts with this child, this child is pathological. He's a danger to himself and a danger to society, and better to end it now than to let it expand outwards and cause terrible damage. But the rabbis point out a different lesson. They say like this: what caused this child to go off the derech, to stray so far? Because he heard conflicting voices. He heard the voice of his mother and the voice of his father. And the one was saying yes, but the other one was saying no. The one was saying no, the other one was saying yes. And this confusion leads to this rebelliousness within the child, the ability of the child to play one against the other. One of the important lessons I learned as a father is I never answer a question of my children with the words yes. One day my wife comes in to me and says, "Why are the children eating chocolates during the week? It is a Shabbat treat." And I said, "I never gave them chocolate. What are you talking about?" To which she goes to the children and says, "What is going on?" They said, "But Abba said yes." I said, "I didn't say they could eat chocolate." I said to them, "What exactly did they ask?" The children go, "Abba." I went, "Yes." They went, "Thank you." So Abba said yes, and therefore they used it to eat the chocolates. We learned there a very important lesson. Never ever say yes to your child. Always say, "What do you want, my dear? Come here and ask me the question to me face to face." Also, it happens quite often that before we go into battle against our children for a particular issue, we always have a sit-down strategy. Who's going to be good cop? Who's going to be bad cop? The worst problem we can have is when one of us says yes and the other one says no. The child learns to play the parents against the parents. So yes, according to the Torah, lo haya v'no livra, said the Talmud, there never was a case of the ben umorer umorer. However, rebelliousness, if a child is smart enough to learn how to play parent against parents, that is certainly something to be wary. So make sure, as a parent, when you're dealing with your children, that the the mother's voice and the father's voice is on the same page. Shabbat Shalom.